It's time to write the essay for the HiSET. And in this video, I am going to provide you with proven strategies that if you follow will really help you pass that HiSET test, scoring a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or maybe even a 6. Hi, I'm Michelle, and I have a passion for empowering others to obtain an education, develop a satisfying career, and ultimately achieve the happiness that everyone deserves. This is Purely Persistent. I know a lot of times writing an essay can be a little scary or a little overwhelming, especially because chances are you haven't written an essay in a long time. Maybe it was 2 years, maybe 20 years, 40 years. It's probably been a while since you've written an essay, and chances are it's probably not your favorite thing to do, right? But let's just have a growth mindset, follow some of these strategies, and I know that you can be successful in writing this essay. Now this video here is a 3-part series. So I'm going to start with this first video here on teaching you the principles of writing an essay. And then I'm going to provide you with strategies to help you write your essay. And last of all, I'm actually going to write an essay with you so that you can sort of see what goes on in my mind here as I'm writing an essay. And hopefully that will help you. But in the meantime, let's get started on planning the outline of an essay. So the HiSET is going to provide you with 2 prompts. And one side is pro and the other side is con. And what you're going to want to do is read both articles. And you really need to come up with which side you like better, honestly. Which side can you write about better? So you're going to just choose a side. Now, honestly, it really doesn't matter which side you choose. You just have to make sure that you choose a side. Either side could be argued as long as you argue it well. And then after you chose a side, I want you to choose 2 main points. So why is the side that you chose a little bit better than the other side? What are 2 points that you like from that side that makes it a better argument than the other side? So here on my screen, I have a HiSET test writing outline. And what I'd like you all to do is take a screenshot or a picture of this image, because this is something that you're going to want to follow every single time. And this is the key to passing the HiSET test. Okay, so once you've chosen your 2 main points, I want you to think about maybe 2 reasons why. So reason number 1 and reason number 2. Come up with a few supporting details on why those main points are valid and something that makes that side a little bit better than the other side. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to come up with a counter argument. Okay, and with your counter argument, you need to figure out what is one point that they say that is not so valid. Okay, so what you're going to do in this is think about an argument that you have with someone. The best way to have an argument is to take their point and maybe find a flaw in it and say, I value your point, however, this is why it's not so great. So that's what we're going to do as we are coming up with that counter argument. Okay, you have your plan, and now it is time to start writing the essay. Okay, the first paragraph is actually my favorite paragraph. And the reason is because you get to become a little bit creative and develop a hook. Okay, I honestly love hooks. I kind of think about like Captain Hook with his little like hook on his hand. It's a hook. We use hooks to grab the reader's attention. So a lot of times people are going to create a hook. It's honestly just one sentence that might be taking the question and taking a topic and turning it into a question. So let's say our topic is going to be recycling. You could say, have you ever recycled? You could come up with another hook like, imagine the world if no one recycled. Or you could even say, imagine the world if everyone recycled. You just want to develop something that is really going to grab the reader's attention. And like I said, this is just going to be one sentence. Okay, the next sentence that you're going to put in this paragraph is going to be your background information. With your background information, you're really just going to say what the issue is. So if the issue is recycling, well, some people agree with recycling and some people don't. So you're going to just address that some people agree and some people don't. The last sentence in your first paragraph is going to be your thesis. Now, there's no need to really cram your brain and try and think about a thesis statement because I've got one for you. One that can be used on every argumentative essay. And these essays are argumentative. Okay, so it's this. Looking at the arguments regarding blank, it is clear that blank. All you have to do is fill in those blanks and you have a great thesis every single time. Thank you to GED Testing Service that I actually got this resource from. All right, time to move on to paragraph number 2. So paragraph number 2 and number 3 are actually exactly alike, except for like the topic is very different. So the first thing you're going to do, paragraph 2 and 3, is you need to have a topic sentence. So a topic sentence is really just telling us what the paragraph is about. So remember how I had you come up with 2 different reasons why that side of the article was a little bit better, or 2 reasons why you should go with that side of the article? We'll turn whatever that reason is into a sentence because that is going to be your topic sentence. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come up with supportive details. So these are really just your reasons. Why is this point valid? Give us just 2 more sentences. I mean, even one sentence would probably work on why that sentence or why this information is valid, why it supports this topic sentence. Okay, one thing that HiSET really wants you to have is going to be a little bit of personal information. Okay, so maybe it's personal to you, maybe it's personal to your Uncle Dave, or maybe it's just made up, okay? But they want you to really tie it to you and to your life. So somehow come up with an example. So back to our little recycling example, you could say at my daughter's school, they even have a recycling program where they're collecting those little like pop can tops, you know, these little things here. Collecting those for the Ronald McDonald House. Totally something that you could say. Just somehow tie it to make it so that it applies to you and to your life. As I mentioned, the 3rd paragraph is going to be exactly the same format as the 2nd paragraph here. Okay, our 4th paragraph is going to be our counter argument or our counterclaim. As I sometimes like to say it, it's the other side. Okay, so we have 2 different articles that we read, and we agree with one side, and the other side we don't agree with. And so you need to come up with the one point that you don't agree with on the other side, and you need to say why you don't agree with it. Now, it's really important that, like, as you're having an argument, that you validate the person's point and that you respect their point. So what you're going to do is start off with the topic sentence, just like we did before. And in your topic sentence, say what point they had. So you could say something along the lines of, on the other hand, some people believe that recycling is not important because blah, 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 blah. There's your topic sentence. Then you have your rebuttal, okay? And in your rebuttal, you're going to say something like, while this is a valid point, it is not applicable or it is not accurate because blah, 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 blah. So you're validating their point, but then you're kind of twisting it and saying, now wait a second, they didn't really think about this. And that's it for paragraph number 4. Maybe it's 3 sentences, not too long. Okay, now we're going to finish it up here with our last paragraph. And the first thing you're going to do, we have here is the conclusion. And in the conclusion, you're going to reword your thesis. Okay, now let's just think about our thesis for a second. It was looking at the arguments regarding blank. It is clear that blank. Okay, now you don't want to restate that completely because that would be very repetitive and we don't really want that. But really just say what is your point, right? Many people are arguing recycling, right? I mean, that's simply what it is. Many people are arguing recycling, and I believe that recycling is something that we should implement in our community. And then give us a little bit of a summary, okay? And in your summary, think about your 2 main points, right? Recycling is valid in our community because blank and blank. And there you go. 5 paragraphs, done, just like that. One thing here that's really important. You need to read and edit. So make sure that you give yourself like 5 minutes, maybe 7, 8 minutes to really read through your essay and make any corrections. Now, as you're doing this, one thing that's really important is that you don't just read it in your head. Now, when you're testing, you can't be reading it out loud just in your normal voice because, you know, the testing examiner might like frown upon that, but you can whisper it. So read it out loud and actually whisper it to yourself. You might think that I'm crazy, but by doing this, you're actually going to be able to hear yourself. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to be able to hear it and read it. And by hearing it, you're going to be able to make corrections and notice errors that maybe you wouldn't necessarily when you're actually just reading it silently. So take another screenshot of my screen here, and this is basically a little timeline that I highly recommend when you are doing the HiSET essay. You really want to be mindful of your time, and so it's important to kind of have a guide on what to follow. So here you can have like a 45, 50, 60-minute essay, but you want to make sure that you don't run out of time. So as you're practicing, kind of follow this timeline. As I mentioned before, this is the first video in a whole series that I'm going to have on the HiSET essay to really help you write the best essay possible. So definitely make sure that you check out those other videos so that you can really maximize your essay and do your very best. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone that you know that is working on their HiSET or that maybe should be. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a beautiful day. And if anyone hasn't told you today, I believe in you. And you need to make sure that you believe in yourself. You are a very important person, and I know that you can pass this essay. Practice a little bit and just do your best. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.